stage was what? I went to the property appraiser website. Why did I go there? I knew that I needed the construction to be masonry non-combustible, 1996 or newer. And while I may still call on those accounts because everybody was shopping property, the ones I really wanted were the ones that were going to fit in Chubb's appetite. And I knew that. So they went on the list of the things I was going to go after hardcore. Everything else was kind of overflow for me. It to the tax collector website that I had that maybe gave me a person's name. Is that person on both lists? If so, I think we probably got a winner here. So I'd go to Sunbiz and I would look and see that. Now, a lot of people could stop there, but that's not where I stopped. In addition to checking the entity, I would also go back and I would do a search by the last name, comma, first name of each of the registered officers with the Department of State. Why did I do that? Because it's going to tell me everything else that's registered to them. Most of the time that you're dealing with people who own or run a decent sized middle market company, they have their fingers in a lot of things. I can find out that they have a nonprofit. I can find out, do they have LLCs that hold investment properties? All kinds of LLCs that hold boats, all kinds of stuff. And so I would then print out each one of those because that's going to be a point of conversation when I get in. If I start talking to these people, I can pull that paper clipped stack of papers out and say, hey, in doing my research, I noticed that you have several other things that are registered to you through Sunbiz. Would you mind talking to me about them? And they're going to walk through them one by one. I need to know that as a risk manager, because I need to know if they're taking on any risk personally or professionally that they may not realize they are based on how things are structured. In addition to that, I would also go to the property appraiser's website and I would do a name search and I'd find their home. Why is that important if I'm not writing the personal lines? Well, I want to know how these people think and how they're wired. So I know that if I've got a $50 million middle market company and I do a lookup of the home of the CFO and they're living in a house that's $275,000 in one of the suburbs outside of Tampa, I know that that person's probably pretty practical and probably frugal. Whereas if I go see that that person's living in South Tampa in a $2.5 million home, I know this person's flamboyant and they're not going to be as worried about pinching pennies as what the more frugal person is. And so you learn a lot about the behaviors and the characteristics of your buyer if you just look at what their holdings are. The other thing you can do is you can find out what their political donations are. A lot of that stuff is available if you just Google or you look. I'm not somebody who's political. I really don't care what other people believe. It's their business and it's their right as being an American to have their own opinion and their beliefs. I know what mine are and I hold true to those. And so I can't let that bias me when I'm out doing business with people. But I want to know things that I might accidentally say in a meeting that would trigger somebody one way or the other, because I don't want to do that. And I know that if I see that somebody, donated a bunch of money to the Make America Great Again, foundation, if that's even such a thing, I got an idea they're going to follow Donald Trump and they're going to be uber conservative in what their viewpoints are, most likely. On the flip side, if I'm doing research and I see that somebody's contributed heavily to AOC, I've got an idea of where they are politically, and I know what I can and can't say in a meeting at that point around that.